All right. Hi, everybody. By very popular demand, I am putting together one video that has the entire process of what I went through turning my closet into my recording studio. As you can see here, I just bought a place in Puerto Rico, my first home in Palmas del Mar. I'm very excited about it. And the house had a very large walk-in closet. And we just came back from a digital nomadic tour of 6 months. My family and I, we got rid of most of everything we owned, and we boiled it down to one suitcase and one box each. In my case, I had one suitcase for clothing, one suitcase for gear, and a box. And I had to fit all of my live streaming materials, all of my camera, all of my gear and my clothing and everything in just 2 suitcases. And every 2 weeks we were moving. And so every 2 weeks I would get rid of more and more and more and more things. So that itself is its own video, but I'm not going to talk about that today. But that's kind of necessary to understand why I don't really need a lot of storage space. And so I decided to turn my walk-in closet into a studio because I can figure out other solutions for my clothing. My office produces money for me and my clothing doesn't. So I rather have like a recording studio that I can work out of than a place to store my clothing. And at this point of my life, I have to choose. So anyway, I want you to hear what it sounds like, because it's not just about like turning that closet into this. It's not just about that. It's actually more about this is the journey that we're really going to talk about today. Okay, so I am in my new office. You hear that? That's how my closet sounds after taking everything out and painting it black. So I definitely don't have a studio yet. I cannot record here at all, but I'm recording so that I can hear the process as I apply the sound panels. Because with everything that I add in here, it's going to make a difference, obviously. And I want to see how much I need to add without going broke. So the going broke part is key here, because I've built studios before, and I'll show you one of the studios that I built, which was this one. This is my Instagram account. While I was working at Google, one of my jobs was to work on the new recording studio for Google Cloud. So if you see here on the bottom left, that is what it originally was. It was just a place for desks. It was just an office, open office plan. And we literally taped the floor and said, we want the lights here, we want the control panels here. And to this day, it's one of my most favorite projects I've ever worked on, was working on that studio. And what was really cool about it, actually, now that I'm talking about the studio, is that, let me see, did I put it here? That was at the studio too, but let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't. Okay, well, anyway, I was going to show you that I was pregnant, and I told the construction workers, please, please, please finish the studio before I give birth. And I was in charge of, programming everything. We put up all the lights. It was a really, really fun experience that I feel very lucky. Sorry, here I am. I feel very lucky to have been a part of that process. And a part of that studio, I also built another studio, and I built a voiceover room. These are just the ones. And I just didn't queue up photos of the other one. And I don't have time for that. So anyway, it's different when it's somebody else's money. When somebody else is paying for it, oof, B&H and you become very, very good friends. But when you're paying for it yourself, and in my case, I have some pretty big plans this year. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on this. So it needed to be something that I could do economically, but without cutting any corners. So I want to show you this other cute video. That's my son, Lucas, and he did a lot of that while I was cleaning up and painting, and Alexa helped me paint. So it was definitely a family affair to put this together. It was wonderful. And by the way, all of these stories are on my Instagram. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to actually sit down and record a video on top of everything else that I'm doing, which is why I'm doing it in this more kind of live streamy format, which is not really perfect, but I get it done. So I'm going to do it this way. Basically, I wasn't sure if I was going to ever end up doing this. And I just decided, why don't I just create a highlight reel on my Instagram. And every day I'll continue recording and I'll upload it up there just so that my friends and family, most of my network and my family already knows I'm a filmmaker. Most of my network are other production people that were very much invested in, in this. And so I'll show you another video. Hi, so I wanted you to hear what the studio sounds like right now without the panels up. I already have the panels and they're in the bedroom, so it is already helping a lot, but they're not up yet. So this is a record of what the room sounds like right now. So I kept taking videos like that and uploading them and listening to them. More than about sharing, it was really about me keeping myself honest about doing it frequently, because otherwise I would forget to record, and then even the studio at Google, I barely took pictures of that, and I should have taken like a million pictures. I look back at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, why didn't I go every day and take a picture? But, it's just one of those things that you forget to do. But I didn't want to do it with this because I really needed to know if anything was improving. It was so bad in here. It really felt like I was in like a Gothic cathedral. Not that being there is bad. I love being in Gothic cathedrals, by the way, but it just sounds so echoey. Definitely not a place to record. Actually, there came a point where I was like, am I going to be able to actually turn this into a soundproof place? Because I had never dealt with concrete construction before. In California, it was a lot easier to soundproof a space. So I kept testing. I'm testing my audio, my voice, how it sounds now in comparison to before. So what I would do is I would actually look at my own highlight reel. So at least one person saw it, and I would listen to it again and again, and I would listen to all the different clips, and then I would see, there is some improvement happening. I had a friend of mine, John, and that's why I have his website up here. I want to give him a mention. Wait a second, I'll show you the website. It's John Marshall Media, and they are amazing, and I am lucky enough to be John's neighbor and friend. Let me see where I can see him. That's him. I recognize him. Well, he's been in the audio industry for longer than me, and definitely more professionally than me. And I asked him for help. I was like, I need your help because I am, in essence, making a podcasting studio in my house. And I really I had done it before, but every time we did it, we always had a big team. I always had my other producers there with me. It wasn't just me deciding everything. So for the first time, it was me deciding everything. It wasn't by committee. It wasn't in a meeting, and nobody was sharing a slide deck. It was just me and making decisions that I was having to pay out of my own pocket. So it was definitely different. So I'm very happy to have had his guidance, which is why I'm giving him a plug. And also because this video, he came over, we talked about the space, and then, which is really important, to be able to actually have an expert in the industry come in and speak to the different walls and the different corners and talk to me about the acoustics in the room from that viewpoint definitely makes me feel like I cheated a little bit. So I made this video to send it to him because we had discussed some things, and then this is the test audio that he requested. So I did not share this on Instagram. Hey, this is what it sounds like right now. So you're right that it's still missing, so that's good. You see how those lower, I feel like I hear the echo in the lower tones, just like you said, the chest, that's where I hear the echo. But that's okay, because I left space for those here and there, and then I also left space for them there. So we do have room to add them, but still playing with the light and I put this one here too. This is those drapes in front of the window, just because I'm going to need to black out that window anyway.
Like velvet drapes.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like right now. Still experimenting with the lights, but working on the sound first, just waiting for the panels. So in no way am I an audio expert. And if you really want to learn about audio, I highly recommend that you just look it up on YouTube and look it up on a few different websites, because there's definitely a lot of information out there. I am not that person. But in my very, very non-professional way of explaining it, the type of foam that I got, which now I'm going to pull up their website because they were also very helpful. The type of foam that I got was good for higher tones. So, which is great, like the soprano tones, like the higher ones. And they were really good at absorbing those, but they weren't very good at absorbing kind of like the lower, deeper sounds. And so I had to get a different kind of foam for that. And that's what I think you should definitely look up on your own, because I am not going to make a fool of myself saying the wrong thing. But I do know that I had to buy 2 different kinds of foam. And I am also going to plug these guys real quick. And by the way, nobody is sponsoring this. Becca, sweetie. Okay, so these guys, Audio Degenerate in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, yes, they were wonderful. And not only did he spend like 2 hours with me talking to me about everything, I wish I can invite him over to a show. We're going to have to do that. But I was able to like really listen and look at these panels in person. So that is actually where I got my panels, the ones that are behind me, and I cleaned them out. I bought all of their panels. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with that, but I definitely want to say that these guys were awesome. Oh, smooth is on. That's the problem when you're like cutting and switching and doing it all at the same time, and your talent. Anyway, highly recommend them. I went with my daughter, and he sat us down. We listened to music. We talked about all the different foams. I'm telling you, 2 hours with me. So they were great. Find your local acoustic panel store, whichever that is, and ask them for help, because they're out there for that reason. Okay, let me see what other videos I have. I'm starting to lose steam. I actually really like working here without the light on. So that's something that I started taking videos, because the light of the computer is definitely enough. So I know I have one more thing. So once I got the microphone, so that was another thing. So the microphone, I ended up getting a MV7 and a Shure. I have to say, it's a great microphone. I don't like that the logo is so prominent right there, because as you can see, my setup is pretty simple, and I feel like I can't see anything else other than the logo, and I paid for that. I kind of don't want to give them free promotion because I paid for that. I'll talk about it. I'm kind of doing free promotion right now. I'm saying it's a great microphone. You're listening to it, but I don't really like that they're just shoving that logo there. And I could do different things with the microphone so that you don't see the logo, but then anyway, that's what I have to say about that. But once I got the microphone, I started looking at how close do I need to have this to my face, because I used to have a Blue Yeti that I would just sit on my desk and you wouldn't see it. It wouldn't be in the shot. But then suddenly I'm like, oh my God, like I have to have this all the time in front of me. And so I started testing like how far away I need to be if I'm not recording, like if I'm in a meeting or something, like how far away can I have the mic? I'm testing the audio, the microphone placed here. If I'm looking over here, and then if I'm looking over here, I just want to see and hear the difference between the audio in the two different places. Yes, watching yourself on camera is always weird, always. Anyway, so let's see, what else do I have here? I showed you that now it sounds like this. I have an office. It's exciting. I can record from here. I'm mostly working out of here than recording. I'm not having as much time for that. I want to make more time, and this is one of the reasons why I am creating content in this way, in this kind of like live stream of consciousness. Do the work in the pre-production. So I've already like lined up all the clips, and I am producing it the way I would be producing a live show, except it's not live. And I did start over like 9 times. So, there's that. I'm very bad at the beginning. So I'm still working on this. I'm working on my content creation as well. I'm more of a behind the cameras person, and I know how to direct talent behind the camera. And that's much easier than actually staring at a lens. But anyway, this is my story of how I turned my super duper echoey concrete closet into a recording studio. And, yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. All right, bye.